it was really good fun. I mean, it was definitely a good icebreaker. I mean, we know each other really well. We're married, so it was a bit different for us than maybe some of the other couples. But it was a good laugh to do together anyway, and I really enjoyed it. I like the repeating, when they did the dialogue for you. That was quite fun. Yeah, that was really funny. It was very clever the way they tied it all in.
Really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it, and I would recommend either coming without a date or coming with a date. Because if you have a date, then it's a good way to get to know them, and if you don't have a date, it's hilarious.
I think I'll probably remember the role play when you are being asked to repeat the sentence that you're listening to through your microphone and try and make it seem like it's a genuine conversation. I thought it was quite clever because it tests your skills really. Yeah, I thought I probably remember that mostly.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was quite odd to start off with, but now it feels really weird to not be having headphones in my ear. So yeah. I think the games were really fun. The games were good, and asking questions as well, because then you kind of got to know your partner better. So it was a very good experience.
It was fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed being intimate with someone. I won't explain it. No, I just don't. I think because someone explained it to me, so I had a bit of an idea.
I actually came in like I did not know what was going to go.
That's really cool.
So I just said, just come and find out.
Come and experience the day. I think I'll remember looking at it as a piece. It's an ability to take you on different directions of fiction.
Like that.
You can the bit with the two characters, taking you on different fictional journeys.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And also experiencing your own one.
Yeah.
Which was
and giving me that control. I like that as well. That was exciting.
The performance was great. It was nice to. I think it did help. Get to know somebody pretty rapidly. That was cool.
I've never had anything like it in my life. It's completely different, and I think it's great. It's very good for that point of view. I don't know what it did to our relationship.
I think we'll be all right.
I think we'll be all right.
It's quite nice. It's quite intimate. Yeah. Be prepared to, I guess, feel and think about things differently. It puts you out. It makes you. It just puts you outside the box of a regular conversation. You sort of interact with different items. You play different games, and then you're asked to do certain things, and those certain things make you feel a certain way. They get a certain response from the person that you're doing it with, so it just makes the whole experience very different to a normal sort of dinner date. So we both looked at each other and we were just and the question was, what would your response be? And we were just left or right. And it was just brilliant. Yeah.
I was thinking the same. That was the funny thing.
Really funny. It was just good. It really makes you think about the other person, the things you like about them. Makes you think about relationships, and especially on the first date, how you come across and what you see. And what I found really interesting was when you hear yourself. It was interesting. So, sensually, it was really interesting.
I love being put out of my comfort zone. I think that's something that I've always particularly enjoyed, just on a personal level. And I think being forced to think about the relationship.
Well, I didn't think about I would be talking about Trump, Brexit, and abortion or porn addiction. That was funny. Some emotion coming from all of a sudden unexpected talk or instruction.
Amazing, actually. I mean, we've been in a relationship 3.5 years, and I actually learned new stuff about him, actually.
Yeah, me too, yeah. Well, I didn't know she was allergic to bubble bath.
I didn't know he wanted to be in the circus. So.
I'd say it's like Black Mirror meets dating, meets... I think that's it.
It really felt like first dates to me, so it felt really current, didn't it? So, but that could have been the music. It's a very unique experience, completely. And we were even saying it'd be amazing as a first date, for strangers, wouldn't it? I mean, at first it would be a bit to warm into. You'd have
and
to.
caring and cool.
I like when they like instruct you to have a conversation. Like they help you out. So I really like that part as well. And also seeing everybody around, catching eyes of other people's like intimate.
What was interesting was that everyone was doing different things. Like you were doing one thing, they were doing something different. So it's funny, like everyone's not all in sync for each other.
Definitely, and then you can see how they're handling it, and it's just really, especially when you see a couple paired up and you know that they didn't come together. It's really interesting to see those little moments and how they.
It's a 10 out of 10. Then you get to know your date better. And it also shows us how to avoid mistakes on your first date as well. Get to know the person, don't hold back, and don't think more than you should as well. Just know the person as a person and enjoy the experience. How to have conversations with people on a first date.
It was really, really interesting. Yeah, I really enjoyed my evening, my date. It was great. She was lovely. She was great fun and really good sport. Yeah, and we just sort of, actually got to know each other quite well, I think. Yeah. I describe it as a first date with unusual guidelines. Yeah, that's what I would say. Seeing the story of the waiter unfold, that was lovely. I'll remember that.
It was a really interesting experience. It was actually an educational experience. I think everyone's got to do it once. Everyone's got to do it once. For me, the best part was the most awkward part because it puts you off your comfort zone. I also think it can give you a very rushed sense of intimacy very quickly. It's very curious what happens when you're physically that close and you're being asked to say things which are much more intimate than you should normally be at on a first date. Finding out things about someone you shouldn't yet is an interesting experience to be on the receiving end of.
Unexpected, but then also something fun to do as well, and a place you love to come to. At one point when he had to draw the heart on my hand, and I didn't expect that to happen, it was quite like endearing. You're like, oh, and then I had to put a heart on somewhere on his face and things like that. That was quite sweet. Yeah, I like that. It was really interesting, and it creates a really intimate setting straight away. Actually, it was really sweet. And you shared things with your partner you wouldn't normally. Do you know what I mean? It was quite quick to kind of share certain like stories and stuff. It was really fun and engaging, and it was a really good experience. Yeah, massive, wonderful, awkward first date. Quite not philosophical, but thought-provoking. Yeah, definitely. So thought-provoking, all sorts of mixtures of awkward first dates. And,
I think I'd describe it as a kind of exploration into dating and love and the getting to know another person. And also not just the awkwardness of dating, but the relationships and how they carry on, and what our expectations are of relationships, and exploring that in an intimate dinner date setting.
It's a blind date, so you don't know who you're going to be with, and it's exciting. It gets quite philosophical also in a way, so it was just nice to listen to things, but then again you're reminded it's a performance, but you're actually also in a date situation.
It's sort of an immersive theatre experience. You go there, you specify the preference, the type of person you'd like to date. You're shown to an empty table, and a few minutes later another member of the audience come in and sat opposite you. Then over the course of an hour you go through a kind of variety of activities and experiences that allow you to bond and get close to one another. I think there's a variety of really good moments. There's some really nice bits. The nicest bits are just the kind of moments where you suddenly have a bit of freedom to talk. You get a couple of conversation prompts, but you kind of have the opportunity to discuss the things that are happening to you and kind of share in this experience together. It's really nice.
It was really good fun. It was really unusual. I haven't done anything like it before. Before I did it, I described it like silent disco, but a date. Where you're instructed to do things. I think I might still go for that description. I wouldn't want to give too much away. The games were really fun, actually. A lot of it feels slightly more serious or pressured, and then that was like really light, fun moment as well.
Really matter how you do it, it puts you in situations where it's out of your comfort zone. Being in the seat of your own theatre and then putting yourself in a situation you would never put yourself in usually. So it's a really good experience to do it actually.
The questions were really good, all the games with the questions. So it was acknowledged and lightened, so that you had some space left to actually connect with the person. Whereas normally, when you go on one of these things, you don't connect with the person. You're worrying about what they think and do they like you. And
the experience was very different, very different. I haven't done such a thing like this.
It's like being in a film, but you're the main character and it's your dating story, because all of the music that they play and the script, it's just like being in a film.
It's very cheesy. Very
but
cheesy.
in a good way.
But in a good way, yeah. Like, it's very romantic as well.
Yeah.
Clearly.
It's not afraid to be cliche. Really, watching the people in the shopping mall is such a strange experience, because I could hear a voice in my ear talking about these people and what their lives were like, and that was really an incredible thing. I thought that it was happening live, but actually I think it was pre-recorded and just coincidences.
There was a strange coincidence, like Holly said over there. Like, I was talking to her about me wearing socks when I go to bed, and then the guy over the microphone or the headphones or whatever happened to mention it. We're trying to work out whether it's pre-recorded or just...
Not sure. The humour of it, and then the depth. Like this part at the end. Like when you think about what's the worst that could happen, and I felt like, oh yeah, that. And it kind of comedy, but deep, interactive dinner date. In Stratford, in a shopping mall. I would like. I hope they come and do it again. Like I would
recommend it to other people to come. Yeah, definitely.
It was a great experience. Like I was just saying, like how I just felt transported into a different place. Like it felt very much like a date. I felt like the music did that, and the tone of the voice and the questions that made me think, and it really transported me to a more comfortable place than in the middle of this mall that is very cold. Not just the weather, but also as a design and everything, that is not a cozy place at all. And yeah, like I came with my partner, and it made me. It were big questions, and I found it interesting. And to look him in the eye and say these things. We've been together a few years now, and yeah, it was nice to feel these things. It's a piece about being in a date. I would say that it's an immersive theatre which is participatory, where you go on a date either with a stranger or with a couple, with your own partner, and you go through the motions, I guess. Being in a mall, like, and having a lovely date in the middle of this weird mall.